If you've ever researched ambiguous creatures like the Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot, then you may have already seen this photo. Taken in the 1960s, it shows a black mass shaped like a giant tadpole, a sea monster. This photo is one of a handful taken during an alleged monster encounter. Are these photos of a hoax, a misidentification, or a genuine animal unknown to science? This is the story of the Hook Island sea monster. On the 12th of December 1964, Frenchman Robert Lesterec and his family were visiting the Whitsunday Islands off the eastern coast of Australia, accompanied by Robert's friend Henk de Jong. As they ventured into Stonehaven Bay near Hook Island, Lesterec's wife spotted something in the water. A large creature resembling a tadpole with dark skin and two eyes atop its head. A white spot on its tail suggested that it had been injured, perhaps by a boat propeller. After taking some photos of the unmoving creature, Lesterec and de Jong left the boat to film it underwater. It was much larger than their first thought. As the two men drew closer, the monster opened its mouth and started to veer towards them before they had a chance to start filming. Lesterec and de Jong swam for their lives to rejoin their group back on the boat. When they got back on board, the monster was gone. Lesterec's story and photos were published in Everybody's magazine in March 1965, after several failed attempts to sell the images to American magazines. Opinions have varied on the true nature of Lesterec's photos ever since. Haters will say they're photoshopped, but the program didn't exist in the 1960s. Cryptozoologists Bernard Heuvelmans and Ivan Sanderson both felt that it was likely that Lesterec had carried out a hoax. Heuvelmans theorized that Lesterec may have shaped some black plastic sheets to resemble a monster and weighted them down with sand. You can even see where some of the sand might be in this close-up photo. Heuvelmans claimed that Lesterec had unpaid debts back in France and was wanted by Interpol when he took the photos. If Lesterec had encountered a genuine creature, Sanderson speculated that the Hook Island monster may have been some kind of swamp eel. If this was true, it would have to be one gigantic eel. The longest eel ever caught was just under 4 meters long. Lesterec estimated that the monster was over 20. It's also been suggested that the Hook Island sea monster photos show a school of fish, but this theory isn't without some issues. The edges of the monster are much too defined for even the most uniform school of fish. The monster is also in the same position in each photo, which would be unlikely for one fish, let alone several bunched together. Nobody else ever claimed to see anything resembling the Hook Island monster before Lesterec came out with his photos. And nor have there been any eyewitness accounts of something unusual in the water ever since Lesterec told his story. The closest thing you can find is an account of two fishermen who claimed to have caught a sea serpent in the 1930s, but it was only around 2.5 meters long. Though Lesterec's Hook Island monster is almost definitely a hoax, the photos are still irresistibly fascinating and some of the more convincing cryptid photos out there. And who knows? These photos might be a hoax, but that doesn't mean that there aren't other unknown creatures lurking in the depths of the ocean.